All right.
Okay, I am ready when you
Don't
are.
start filming yet. Oh, sorry. My name and age.
Yeah,
My honest age or what? Samuel Conway, I am aged 44. My fur name is Uncle Kage. Species? Blatidae cucaracha, your little family friend. The cockroach, that is. All right. It's a very, very long story. Do you have time?
Yes. I would say so.
When I first discovered this furry world, it was in the form of furry muck, a virtual furry world on the internet. That was back in 1991, the end of the year, September of that year, I recall. I was living in Chicago. I just moved there from the wilds of Vermont, where I had been living for the previous 5 years. There was a bit of culture shock. I was here on the south side of this great city, the Broad Shoulders, and not really adjusting very, very well to it. I was unhappy. I was very lonely, and I was excited. Here is a community of people who like the same kind of stuff I like. So I joined this furry muck as a guest, and I'm seeing all these foxes and wolves and bats and wonderful things who could all talk and do amazing, amazing feats. And I wanted to join, but I wanted to be unique. I wanted something that nobody else had. So I went to the university bookstore at the University of Chicago, and I bought Peterson's Field Guide to North American Wildlife. And I started at the beginning, and I leafing through, you got the bears, you know, right. The cougars, and the things that start with D, you know, things like the elephants and all.
Right.
I'm trying to find something that's kind of something that nobody else would ever think to be, but is still kind of at least sort of cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something I could make a personality out of. Now, while I sat there, I had this old dumb terminal that I connected with. Up the side of the terminal and across the top came crawling the biggest, greasiest black Asian cockroach you have ever seen in all your days. And I'd never seen one, but somehow instinctively I knew what this monstrosity was. And I was grossed out, and I was like, I picked up the book. I'm like, yeah, go away. Now, on TV, you turn the light on and they scatter for cover. This thing just turned and reared up at me. I'm staring at it. It's got its little legs up like this. And I'm like, you're a ballsy little roach, aren't you? And my disgust was overcome with this sort of grudging respect. And the wheels started to turn in this noggin of mine, and I envisioned the concept of a brave samurai cockroach. Oh, that's it, a samurai cockroach, and I will name him Kagamushi, which is a pun on the title of the Akira Kurosawa film, Kagemusha, which is the shadow warrior.
Yes.
Mushi in Japanese is insect. So Kagamushi is the shadow bug. So I introduced that character, a little black cockroach with samurai armor and, you know, 4 swords. Yeah. And he was a hit. Everybody loved him. It's great. You know, he's running around riding on people's shoulders, looking like a small, Toshiro Mifune sitting on people's shoulders. And that was 1991, and he's been me after fashion ever since. What do I do for a living?
Yes.
I eat. I process oxygen. You mean my career?
Yes.
I am a chemist by trade. I have a doctorate in chemistry from Dartmouth, 1991, and I am working at a facility in Pennsylvania that has a contract lab. I basically do other people's research for them.
Uh-huh.
When they're too lazy, they call me. I want to discover something today. Sam, go discover something for me. Oh, thank you very much. Look at my discovery. That's pretty much the contract business. I still don't know. I was their guest of honor in 1998, and I walked out as chairman. And I got home. I'm like, oh boy, I'm chairman. Wait. Actually, it's a little more involved than that. Albany Anthrocon started in 1997 as a small, struggling little convention. And as guest of honor coming up in 1998, they had put me on the staff mailing list so I could, hear what they're planning and make little suggestions of my own. Because I'm the guest, I want to, have this kind of panel and stuff.
Right.
And I I have a bad habit of sticking my nose in and offering advice when it's not asked for, and I apologize to the world for that. It's a flaw, I know. I'm a busybody that way. But I kind of started making these little suggestions. People would mention things, and I kind of type back, you know, I couldn't help noticing that you're planning to do this, but have you realized that if you do that, the following cascade of terrible catastrophes are going to occur? Might I recommend that instead you do the following, because it will do that. And then they started actually coming to me with questions. Well, how should we run this? Well, you probably ought to do. And somewhere around March or April, they just said, dude, you want to be chairman? I said, okay, yeah, why the hell not? Oh, yeah, why the hell not? Oh, my God. Oh, there's a long list of answers to that question, but I didn't know them at the time. So that's how I became the chairman. Yes. Damn. I shall have to take you back in time to that year, 1991, as a matter of fact. Early on, when furry fandom was first beginning to become known as a phenomenon of itself. It is a fandom. It's not just a bunch of artists who like furry stuff. There are lots of people out there. Yeah. It was getting its name. It became known as furry. There was one furry convention, and that convention was held in Southern California. For reasons of their own, for good or ill, the organizers of that convention felt that the way to increase membership was to market the convention as a no-holds-barred sexual romp. You know, come have this orgy party with us with our furry costumes. It increased membership, all right, but the sort of membership that it attracted, I found distasteful. Right. And the thing was, people didn't want to go anymore, but it was the only furry convention around. So here, people would go to this convention and kind of go through what looked like Pride Fest on meth in the lobby to go to their rooms to sit with their friends. And then other conventions started to pop up. Albany Amphicon was formed. Over in Europe, Eurofurence came about. Later on, something called Midwest Fur Fest started to crop up. And these conventions, as a reaction to the awful atmosphere of that original convention, tried to implement very, very stringent standards of conduct. That is not the image we want to present to the world. So, I mean, look at these standards of conduct of your average furry convention. They are, somebody described it at one time like a Catholic school Halloween party.
I like that.
And it's true, that's what it is. You go to an anime convention, you go to a science fiction convention, you got, you know, the women hanging around with their titties held together with 3 pieces of chainmail and you know, the thing, what the hell is that? Has it any clothes at all? I don't know. You don't have that at furry conventions. Anime conventions, you got tentacles raping little girls everywhere you turn. You don't have that at furry conventions. But first impressions are lasting impressions. The world's first view of furry fandom was that disgusting escapade in Southern California, and we have been saddled with that horribly heavy albatross around our collective neck for the past near 20 years. The misconception that furries are a bunch of sex-crazed... Oh no, furries are young people. One could argue they're one and the same, but as one radio shock jock was trying to goad me into, it's all about sex. You furries are all about, you go to there have sex, you go to have sex in that convention, you go to have sex, you're having sex, and I finally said, all right, I admit it. Furries are the only human beings who have sex, and you're just jealous. That shut him down. I'm proud of that.
Very nice.
Yep. So that is the misconception that furry fandom is all about, you know, orgies. It's all about sexual deviance. It's all about you being gay and blah, blah, blah. It's not. It's about thinking that cartoon animals are really, really cool.
Yes.
And getting out from under that image has been something I've been working on for the longest time, but for every step forward I take, somebody shoves me back a mile. We are our own worst enemy because, well, if you've ever gone to a family reunion, you guys at home, you've been to the family reunion, right? Mm. And you all know that at the family reunion, you've got dozens and dozens and hundreds and billions of people, and Uncle Frank always shows up. Uncle Frank is the one who sits by himself in the corner. You can't not invite him because he's family, but you don't want the kids going and talking to Uncle Frank.
We have one of those at our Christmas parties.
There you go. Furry fandom has, every now and then, Uncle Frank showing up.
Yes.
You know, he's a furry, he's not a bad guy. Okay, just why is it that when the media shows up, Uncle Frank's the one that they find? Oh my gosh. Oh wow. It's a difficult question to answer because a lot of people get pissed at me. But, well, okay. My favorite artist in the fandom is the same favorite artist out of the fandom. That would be Stan Sakai. Stan Sakai created Usagi Yojimbo back in the 1980s, the heroic tales of a samurai rabbit in feudal Japan. His comic captivated me in my younger days. I adored it. It was one of the driving things that kind of got me to furry fandom. You know, funny animals don't have to be funny anymore. You can tell real stories with them. And it was not until about 2004, 2005 that Stan came to Anthrocon and kind of started associating himself a little bit more with furry fandom. I wouldn't say he is a furry, but he certainly is one of us. I still adore his art because he tells stories through his art that absolutely just are unbelievable. If I had to say a very, very close follow-up, you might notice I tend to admire the storytellers.
Yes.
People draw wonderful art. Here is a beautiful character standing there doing this. It's pristine, it's detailed, it's great. It doesn't tell a story. Stan tells stories with every little drawing he does. Every caricature, every tiny little doodle tells a story. And similarly, in Australia, Dr. Jenner, who gave us Doc Rat, he is telling stories. He's got a story arc going right now that it's got me biting my nails. You know, I can't get any work done in the mornings. Is it updated? Is it updated? Is it updated? Oh yes, it's updated. Now I can get to work. Yep, I need my stories.
Yes.
I'm hooked on heroes.
Yes.
I like heroes. Every once in a while they get a little creepy, but they still have the ability to make me go ah! in the middle of the episode, which I like. Favorite movie? Oh boy, I don't get to see that many movies these days. Busy.
Right.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We'll come back to that one. I'll be in the middle of answering a question sometime. I'll suddenly blurt out, "Oh!" and I'll tell you what my favorite movie is when I remember what it is. Favorite band or musical artist? My musical tastes are eclectic. I can't point to one person and say, I like all this guy's stuff. I can't point to one genre and say, I like all this genre. My music tastes go from the Baroque era up into the 1970s, really. I kind of stopped listening after the 1970s because everything became... I don't like that. Because it makes me dizzy.
Yes.
That is an inevitability. It will happen just on its own. You can't make it happen. You can't even try. Just be yourself, have fun. Eventually, people will have seen enough of us that it'll be, they're the furries. Furry fandom is where Star Trek fandom was about 25 years ago. It was freakish. It was, what the hell is this? Why has that guy got Vulcan ears on? People reacted because they'd never seen anything like it before. Now, Star Trek fandom is like the science fiction fandom. It's the first thing you think of when you think science fiction. Just because of familiarity, they have integrated themselves into the mainstream, just as anything over time eventually will. Yes, negatives to being a mainstream fandom, and here I run the risk of looking arrogant or cliquish. Right now, furry fandom, as much as it is very, very diverse, is still very much like a giant extended family.
Right.
When you become a mainstream fandom, you start to bring in people who maybe have a different idea of furry fandom, or who aren't even really furry. You look at them and say, what the heck is that guy doing here? You sort of stop being a community, and you will eventually become more like, you know, a populace. Diversity is wonderful, but we still currently have that cohesive, insular feeling to us. It will happen. It is also an inevitability that more and more people will start coming into the fandom. Maybe they don't even give a rat's butt about furries or something, but it's a big party. You know,
right.
They go because it's fun, even though they've never seen a furry comic. They don't know what a fursuit is. They just go to hang out. That's the mainstream.
Yes.
Strangest request that's ever been made of me at a convention. Apart from the occasional one that Uncle Frank makes that I call security on, strangest request. Oh. It's more a question of which one do I give you? Every year at conventions, people ask me to do odd things. They will hand me a giant stuffed carrot and say, "Can I take your picture holding this carrot on your head?" Okay, dude, you know, whatever makes you happy. I'm good with that, okay? So, gentlemen, we might have to move our venue at this time. Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's find ourselves another quiet spot. We can, this is where you cut the video on YouTube and go to part B. Okay, tell us when you're ready. Hi. And we're going to be interrupted by people.
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell you what, don't be afraid, Mr. Camera Guy, to turn around and do this to people for me, okay? Getting back to strange requests that I've had. People like saying, can we interview you on camera for a YouTube video, things like that. I have had the picture taken with the giant carrot on my head. I like fans. Fans are great. If that makes them happy, they want me to do something for them, a silly picture, okay, I'll do it. There was only one incident where a gentleman wanted his picture taken with me, that I looked at him and I said, dude, no. No. Don't take this the wrong way, but I don't want my picture showing up anywhere with that. We'll just leave it at that, okay?
All right.
Yeah. Actually, that's it. Usually it involves a picture. Yeah. Can I have a picture or whatever? Now, I've had strange requests as chairman of Anthrocon for people wanting stuff from the convention. You would probably be boggled if you knew some of the things that people asked for. It's one thing to say, can we have a panel on should we use zippers or Velcro? The great debate in fursuits or something. Then you get the ones that's like, what? Can we set up a shooting range in the? How about no? We're the furry bowlers. We would like to set up a bowling alley. No. And occasionally we get Uncle Frank wants to have a panel on his favorite hobby. No. No, let me spell it for you. No! I get to say that a lot as chairman of Anthrocon. No. No! I don't like to say no, but sometimes you have to.
Yes.
That, too, is a difficult question because every single fursuit is an individual work of art. Some of them, they could be very, very simple but clever in the design. Some of them are not just the suits, but the way the person wears the suit. There are some extremely talented performers out there. But a few do rise to memory. There was the mech wolf many years ago at Anthrocon, this gentleman created a 9.5-foot tall mechanized wolf. And this guy, he went whole hog. I mean, he had the stilts and everything. It was this towering metal, it looked really cool. Big like a Nubian head with the ears here. If you can probably find pictures, the mech wolf Anthrocon. It had in its mouth, I think this was a nod to me, a little cockroach. And every time it moved its legs, this little control rods on the cockroach's arms would do this. So he was like the mech pilot. And it had lights in its mouth, and its eyes would flash when it spoke.
Wow.
It was damn cool. And this guy, again, proper artist. He created it. He wore it. He wore it once, and then donated it to the charity auction. Okay? I have presented my piece. Now I'll move on to the next. And I was like, damn, I want to buy that. But some more generous and more rich person got it before I did. All of them.
All of them.
Okay, I got lots of friends, I got lots of fans, I got lots of people I haven't met yet. But that's the beautiful thing about furry fandom. And I really like to tout this. If you go to a furry convention, you will see black people, you'll see white people, you'll see Asian people, you'll see Arabic people, you will see Muslims, Jews, Hindus, Christians, atheists. You will see rich people, you'll see poor people, you see young, old, an amazing mixture of people. And when we are here, nobody sees any of those differences. We come here and all we see is another furry. In this little culture of ours, we have found the diversity that America has been after for so many years and which has eluded its grasp. We found it just by being us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was nice talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you.